All right, the Senate, beginning tomorrow, will sit as jurors in the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Now, how long of a process will this be, and is it nothing more than political theater? Joining me now to talk about this and much more, the senator from Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn. Marsha, welcome back to the program.
It is good to be with you, and Tony, you're exactly right. It is political theater, and this is an unconstitutional impeachment. They're impeaching a former president. I have to tell you, I think the Democrats are now favoring a short, because they have realized they opened a Pandora's box. And if you start impeaching former members, then there is a long list of former presidents and former civil officers who could be impeached. Maybe
Right.
Hillary Clinton for Benghazi or James Comey. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, very good point. And let's talk for just a moment about how this is going to unfold, because if I were Joe Biden, I would be concerned about how this is going to take up a lot of time where the Senate could be working on my agenda that I want to present to the American people. Is this going to take up a lot of the Senate's time?
Well, it is going to dominate the time because you cannot be doing legislation and working on legislation during the time of the impeachment. Remember last year when they impeached President Trump, everything came to a standstill. Why were we not focused on COVID? Because the Democrats were focused on impeachment and nothing could move forward. Now, if we had been in regular order, if we were watching what was coming out of Wuhan, China, we may have been able to move forward more quickly. But no, they were intent on moving forward with impeachment.
Very good point. We lose sight of those things from history, which are very instructive, and it was
Right.
eating up a lot of the time. And we could have been.
That's
In
right.
fact, I remember one of your colleagues, Tom Cotton, trying to get attention to the issue of China and the virus, and no one wanted to pay attention because we were in the middle of the impeachment hearing. So
That's correct.
it's going to take time, and it's going to maybe that's good. Maybe it'll derail Biden's agenda. Of course, he doesn't seem to be wanting to work with Congress too much. He's doing most of it unilaterally through executive orders. But I want to talk about last week. And the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, worked late early into the morning hours of Friday with the vote-a-rama. This was to pass the budget resolution, which sets the stage for reconciliation, which is the vehicle which they're going to attach the $1.9 trillion relief measure. But at the outset of this, the Republican leader said that this would provide the American people the opportunity to gain clarity between the priorities of the two parties. After nearly 900 votes that took place last Thursday and Friday, do you think that happened?
No, it was even more frustrating to the American people because not only has Joe Biden moved forward with executive orders, now what they're doing is unilaterally doing a COVID bill and a budget. And we have had 5 different spending measures that deal with COVID in a bipartisan manner. The Democrats take control, and they are in the go it alone. They don't want unity. They don't want bipartisanship. They want you to submit to their agenda and conform to their way of doing things. That is how, in their mind, you get unity.
Right.
So you see where they're coming from with this. So we went through all of our vote process. We did do vote-a-rama. We finished working through the night at 5:30 a.m. on Friday morning. But then what did they do? And what did Joe Manchin and some of the Democrats do? They voted for the Democrats' what they call wraparound amendment, which would strip the amendments that had passed on a bipartisan basis, things like Keystone Pipeline, no money for illegal aliens, things of that nature.
Wow. And we're going to talk about this later with former Secretary Mike Pompeo, but you had amendments to address the issues that are out there with Iran and China.
Yes, indeed, because we do not need to go back into the Iran nuclear deal. not need to let China drive what is going to happen with great power competition. But of course, there's all this soft talk that is around the axis of evil, which is Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and we know that they are going soft on them. So when Joe Biden says that America is back, they're back to their old ways of going soft on our adversaries and not supporting our allies.
Well, they're back leading from behind, as they used to under the Obama administration. I want to go back to for a minute. You made reference to this about another COVID-19 relief bill. I don't think people realize just how much money has been spent thus far. I mean, we've already spent $3.2 trillion. He wants to add another $1.9 trillion. We were talking about this on the program Friday, that if this next bill passes, that will be about $32,000 per American worker, the number of workers that were working at the outset of the virus. What has American workers gotten for $32,000?
Well, and we're at $3.6 trillion right now, and the 1.9 will put us at $5.5 trillion. And the American workers are seeing their jobs lost. Everybody knows the best economic stimulus is a job. You look at this push for $15 an hour minimum wage, that would remove 1.4 million jobs within 1 year of that going on the books. All of this with the Paris Climate Accord, Keystone Pipeline, shutting those down. That is 11,000 direct jobs on Keystone alone, and the estimate is it is costing us 1 million jobs. So that's what Joe Biden has done in his first couple of weeks. He has removed 2.4 million jobs from the American workplace. His policies are not about helping the American worker. They're helping China. His policies are not about more jobs that people have worked hard to get. It is, we're going to get you a new green energy job. But guess what? Those jobs don't exist.
Right.
John Kerry said people can go build solar panels. Do you know out of the 10 manufacturers of solar panels, 8 are in China? There's only 2 that are in the U.S.
And that's
so this shows you how ludicrous this is.
It's nonsense. The idea that you have people that are trained in one industry that, by the way, made a comeback during the Trump administration, and we became energy independent and became a net, we were exporting oil. Now we want to say we'll send those people over to make, these windmills and other non-fossil fuel energy devices. It's just crazy.
It is.
It just shows how out of touch this administration is and saying whatever they want to say,
right,
without being grounded in reality. Senator Blackburn, I want to ask you one other question for our listeners as you take – now, I know you're going to be stuck on this impeachment for a while, but then we're going to get into the end of the month or probably next month into this budget reconciliation, in which they're going to attach this $1.9 trillion monster of a bill. But are you concerned they're going to put other things into this budget reconciliation that we should be watching for?
Of course, and we'll have more about that as they begin to build it out. We know they're going to put a lot of frivolous things in there, like $350 billion to bail out the blue states and cities. And your listeners can follow me at blackburn.senate.gov, and we will keep them informed. And I'm going to go to the floor right now and talk about debts and deficit and why all of this matters.
All right. Senator Marsha Blackburn, thanks so much for joining us. As always, great to have you.
Thank you.